Hey everyone, welcome to Double Barrel Gaming. Of course, this is the Xbox lunch break special, not the intro that you thought, because I've been working on my video, which I'm super nervous about. I'm not even going to lie. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the embargo lifts for my Indiana Jones preview. I was sent all of my gameplay footage as Bethesda has promised. There are specific rules on how I can produce it. You'll see in the video. It should be around 8 or 9 minutes, give or take, of my preview. Tomorrow, to open the Xbox Factor podcast, we have a pretty decent sized panel because we're going to be going over some of the things that Xbox has done for gaming. We talked about it briefly, Fuzzy and I, on Friday. I wanted to get into more detail because I don't think Xbox gets enough credit for everything that they have done for of course gaming. And again, apologies for the wrong. It says breakfast at Boom. It is not. I have to switch that real quick, so I'm doing that on the fly. Well, there you go. It has been switched. Yes, this is the Xbox lunch break special and not breakfast at Boom. Like I said, I've been working on this video for the last 4 hours. Writing the script and going through the video, scrubbing it and re-recording. It only took me 3 records to actually get it done, which is pretty good because, obviously I want to get it right. But folks, I don't know about you, but a little game that many people may not know about called Call of Duty released on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, everywhere but the Nintendo Switch, which I'm expecting it to launch on as a launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2 later next year. This game is amazing. Like I had said I was going to do, Fuzzy, I simply went right to multiplayer. I think maybe 1 or 2 matches away from level 40. I've been playing like a lunatic. Shout out to Will Broke Boy Lewis, who's in the chat. We were hanging out like 2 old men shouldn't. We were playing, I think, from like 1 a.m. to just before 3 a.m. I happened to see him up, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to, get down?" And we had a blast. It was a lot of fun. And shout out to the community and a lot of people in this community that jumped in with that are probably in the chat. Percolator 9000 is one of them for sure. I got a chance to hang out with Chris 713. There's a few people that we got a chance to hang. We had a nice, decent size. Scrub Nurse was a part of it. He's actually really, really freaking good at Call of Duty. I recorded a lot of the gameplay you're going to see. Now, this gameplay is about an hour's worth, which is as long as the show is going to go, maybe about 70 minutes. I still have to scrub through about 3.5 hours worth of recorded footage and set it up to be able to use during the podcast. But today's episode is going to be dedicated to Call of Duty once again because it is a big deal. A lot of these Steam numbers have come in. We're going to talk about that. Michael Pachter made a tremendous prediction where he thinks that it's going to be gains for Xbox Game Pass between 3 and 4 million new subscribers. And I actually, that was my number originally that I thought, and I think he's onto something. Now, again, granted, Michael gets it wrong, but well, we all do. But before we get into any of that, Fuzzy, how was your weekend, brother? Welcome back. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great. Glad to be here with you today. And thanks to everybody in the chat for joining us. Man, it's been a pretty busy weekend as far as gaming is concerned, and definitely get that Call of Duty fix in. There's the numbers on Steam are just a small portion of what's out there, but I'm pretty sure on all platforms, this thing is pretty much at the top of the chart right now as far as most played at the moment. So it kind of toppled what we thought would, possibly be game of the year with Metaphor and things like that. But, everybody's going to get their shooting fest on. I've seen some more people not realizing that you can grab people up or grip them up from behind and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been fun watching clips. It's been fun playing through the campaign. I would say about 4 or 5 hours in, get ready to head to the Desert Storm open world area. No spoilers,
Nice.
anything like that, but love how they have where you can build up your mansion and all that other stuff. They've done this one right. But it now being first party, it's in good hands at this point. I don't hear any of those that were like, oh, Xbox will mismanage it. Yeah, where are those people at right now? They're probably playing Call of Duty and enjoying themselves. So it's been a good time. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to get into today.
You know, interestingly enough, like I'm normally a campaign guy, almost 10 out of 10 times. I haven't even started the campaign. I have not even turned on the campaign aspect. I have not played zombies. I have just been playing multiplayer. I've been doing a lot of randos. I've come in first quite a few times. There is an achievement that I'm one win away from. When you score top ranking and they do like the roll video of you, decimating everyone. I got 2 out of the 3. So I'm very excited for that. Again, I'm almost level 40. I have unlocked a ton of guns. I unlocked a ton of characters. I know there's actually a lot of things you can unlock if you play the campaign, especially one of the operators being one of the main protagonists from the campaign. You can play as in multiplayer if you unlock it. I am having an absolute blast. Again, you've heard me gush about this game. Well, let me gush some more. Fuzzy, this is probably the best Call of Duty released in the last 5 years, without a doubt. I don't remember having this much fun in multiplayer for me. This is just for me, speaking from just for myself. Since the days of the Xbox 360, and I'm going like all the way back to the Xbox 360 Modern Warfare 2. Now, 3 was good, but I didn't spend as much time in multiplayer there as I did in 2. I spent a ridiculous amount. And those were like prime Xbox 360 multiplayer with your buddies, right? You had Halo 3, you had Modern Warfare 2. I mean, there was a ton of stuff. And I really enjoyed my time then. And I think that the sentiment that we're starting to get, like for instance, oh no, it's Alex. Obviously, if you don't know who he is, I'm shocked. But yes, there's a YouTube streamer that's very funny, very candid, very off the cuff. He said something on Twitter during one of his live streams that I think is brilliant. And I think it's very spot on. He says that this is the best Xbox 360 he has feeling in years. And that is what I think most people will agree with, that this is the return of the dude bro shooter. I really think that there is something here. I think there is something to get excited about. And again, yes, this is not an Xbox exclusive. It is available on PlayStation. We're going to get into those numbers as well, and it's doing very well there. It's on Steam. It will eventually be on a Switch, I would imagine. At some point, it's potentially going to be a launch title for the Switch 2, which makes sense. That's a whole newfound audience. But I think that again, we're going to get into more specific details, especially about the Steam numbers. It appears that not only is it one of the best-selling games on Xbox, it's one of the best-selling games on PlayStation. So the whole shenanigans, Fuzzy, of a Game Pass is going to somehow kill this game. And look, see, I just got the best play. There it is. Look at Mr. BoomStick XL. Best play. How you doing? How you doing, old man? I'm doing all right. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of tropes with Xbox Game Pass ruining the industry. It's going to ruin somehow. It's going to ruin this particular game, and it hasn't. It is selling as much as you would imagine it's going to sell. We don't have any like super detailed numbers yet. Like I was hoping to have, did it break records in the first, 24 or 48 hours? I'm looking. I haven't seen anything. If anybody finds it and you want to quickly DM me, of course, I'll give you a shout out. I have not been able to find, other than some of the Steam numbers and it being number one on the PlayStation Store and on the Xbox Store. But listen, let's get your personal takes of the game so far, both multiplayer and single player.
Now, I haven't dived into the multiplayer or the zombies part just yet. I like taking my time going through the campaign, but loving what I'm seeing so far. Love the fact that the main thing that hasn't changed is that it feels great as far as the gun control or mechanics themselves, being able to like take different routes as far as your approach and go either guns blazing, or you can in some of the maps you can actually go the stealth route, shout out to Ubisoft for still not releasing a what do you call it, Splinter Cell. So if you want to play the stealth route on some of these missions, you can definitely do that, or you can just go in hot and pretty much shoot everything moving. About the only thing, and this is probably like a long stretch of an ask, would be, maybe do the third person perspective for campaign as well. That would be the only thing missing from perfection. But Call of Duty hasn't done that in a while, and the third person perspective is only a recent thing, more so for like the different modes for multiplayer. But aside from that, just loving the visuals, loving the actual maps. Just love the fact that they actually brought it this time with the actual campaign, and given the extra time for development, that goes to show that you get to play like pretty much a Michael Bay style movie to some extent, with a lot of gun action in it and stuff along those lines. But just loving what I'm seeing so far. Love the fact that you can build up your mansion and opt out, or not opt out, but option things differently, as far as like you can put some of your findings towards weapons or certain gear and things along those lines. And just the discovery aspect of finding clues throughout the mansion or things along those lines. Basically, you have that safe house aspect all over again, and then you can go through the missions based on some of the clues you find and whatnot. Love that aspect of it. But I'm probably not going to jump into the multiplayer until probably this coming weekend or sometime throughout the week. But just loving what I'm seeing so far. The fact that it's in Game Pass makes it great. The fact that you could just do the $30 upgrade for the Vault Edition is even better. Leaves a lot more wiggle room as far as the wallet for more of the season pass stuff to come and whatnot. But this is the peak of Call of Duty all over again. Like we thought it was, pretty much on this. A lot of the skeptics or naysayers out there were like, Xbox will run it into the ground, or this will be the downslide of Call of Duty. Looks like they were wrong on that one. And as far as a lot of those guys on Team Blue that were like, I'm not touching this with it being first party Xbox, blah blah blah, I'm not going to play it, they're going to ruin it. You can see that they're offline playing it and enjoying it, and they don't want to talk about it now because they don't want to eat that crow. But it's the game that we kind of expected, especially after, they I wouldn't say hurried up with Modern Warfare 3 and pushed that out as a, end to Sony's contract as far as the marketing and stuff, but they really pulled out all the stops. And I know there were a lot of people like, well, where's the marketing? And then they got slapped in the face with the marketing. And now the game shows up, bigger and better than it's been in a good long time. And the numbers are showing, at least on Steam. We'll probably get some numbers as far as whether it's the, amount of players or something along those lines. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear like a 10 million players on the first day kind of thing across all platforms, if not more. Probably double that in the grand scheme of things. But this is the Call of Duty we've all been waiting for, and the fact that it's a first party studio now makes it even better. So I'm happy to enjoy these rewards at this time.
Yeah. Now, real quick, couple of things. If you go to the store within Call of Duty Black Ops 6, you're going to notice that there's the ability to buy the game if you haven't. Right. There's also Call of Duty endowment package. It's $20. It gives you a new skin, gives you a bunch of new weapons that you could use. Gives you a boost for your XP for both a weapon and for yourself that are good for an hour each. Why I'm bringing it up is not because I'm trying to sell the game for Activision. I don't have to do that, but I do want to sell this particular package because if you are a veteran, I'm a veteran, and there are a lot of veterans in the chat. There are a lot of veterans that go unnoticed. That's how this world is, unfortunately. This pack that you buy goes to charity. It goes to support all veterans. It's $20. Gives you a bunch of stuff. I did it. I know that a couple of people have reached out to me and say, "Hey, Boom, it's free for veterans." No, that's okay. I don't want it for free. I want to pay my $20 because I want to support the veterans, my brothers and sisters. So again, if you are someone that wants to give back, and again, it's entirely up to you. No shame if you say no. but there is a $20 endow. It's called the Call of Duty Endowment Pack, and it has a bunch of stuff in there. It all goes to charity. To me, it's absolutely worth it. And again, I love the fact that they do that there's an actual thing to help veterans find work, and this is a part of it. It's a really cool deal. Getting back to other like the season pass and things. So I looked into that. That is happening November 14th is when season 1 starts. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm still freaking holding out that first season they drop John 117, because if they do, man, take my money, please. Just go and rob me of every penny. It's not a problem. And again, it's one of the points that I want to bring up for this particular portion of the Call of Duty conversation. It's an Xbox Game Pass. No big surprise there. We all knew that was happening. A lot of us, like myself, can't believe it actually happened. To be quite frank, I find it still unbelievable that it happened, because it's Call of Duty, ladies and gentlemen, right? How could this actually be in the service? Well, it's here. And I think that, Fuzzy, I want to get your hot take on this. Look, I don't pretend to know or understand the psyche of the consumer. I put myself on the stand here and I say, well, what does it look like to me? Because that's who I can answer for. And as someone that has not played Call of Duty multiplayer consistently in a decade or more, right? We're talking going all the way back to the Xbox 360 days since I played like consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I would buy every map pack and I would buy whatever DLC they had at the time, right? But I haven't done that in years. And I think there is something to be said about consumers being more inclined to buy a $20 endowment pack or a season 1, skin of Master Chief or weapon skins, or like for me, I'm probably going to spend some coin on, XP boosts for my character and for my weapons, because I want to level up quicker. That I don't see anything wrong with that, but I'm more inclined to do that because I didn't spend $76.43 for the game here. And obviously it's even more if you buy the Vault Edition, which is $108 and change after tax. Let's get your thoughts on that.
And that's part of the Game Pass effect in general, where because you're essentially like in your mind's eye, you kind of look at it as you're getting the game for free. Yes, you're paying your subscription or you're getting it through Microsoft reward points and things like that. But when you're saving that $70 up front and you're getting to play it the same day as everybody else kind of deal, and get a lot of the same components as far as the multiplayer and the campaign, it opens up your willingness to say, you know what, those skins are going to be worth the extra $10 or $20 here. These bonus packs are well worth it at this point. Or, doing the upgrade to the Vault Edition, like some people may not have been looking to spend that full $100 to get the Vault Edition. Now it's a $30 upgrade for those in the Game Pass subscription. It's a much easier get, because that $70 that you would have spent on the game can now go to other places, whether it's another $70 game or it's some DLC stuff for the game, or put towards a lesser expensive game that's not in the service, or it's back in your wallet for other things in your budget and stuff. I think that's that big bonus that we get being part of that subscription service, because it allows you more options on where to put your money. If you are enjoying this game or want to enjoy more of the game as far as what it has to offer, then that $70 can go into the season pass that's coming up, or go into that bonus pack for veterans. And that's where when people were hearing, Phil talk about how people that, subscribe to Game Pass tend to spend more or more into playing games and buying additional content, that was part of it, because now that average gamer that was spending $70 on a one specific title can now split that $70 on the subscription and still have, like another $50 to put towards other stuff. And a lot of people, including myself, have been doing that. So if it's a smaller indie game that goes for $20 or $30 that isn't going to be in the service, all right, I can go ahead and pick that up and not have to think twice about it. Now that, I have this in the subscription, I can do the $30 upgrade as opposed to setting aside $100 for the full copy and the vault edition and stuff like that. So yeah, it's the best way to get the most for your money. And I know some people would be like, oh, it's cheaper just to buy the game, but those are the same ones that have this concept of you're only playing one game at a time. Well, technically you can only play one game at a time, but like that one game for the entire month of your subscription, which is ridiculous to begin with. Like I didn't pay $20 just to play Call of Duty. I'm paying the $20 to play Call of Duty and the 450 plus other games that are in the service. Like tomorrow I might feel like playing, one of the other first party games, whether it's Forza or Halo or something like that, or something that's, recently brought to the service like Dead Island. So there's tons of games. And like on Web Dave's show last night, we were going through like the list of, like Halloween or horror themed games for this season. We didn't even go through the entire list of 400 games, but we came across at least 30 plus games that if you're looking to have that thrill for the holiday weekend or for Halloween, there's at least 30. And like I said, we didn't even get through the entire list of everything that's in Game Pass. Those are just like the ones that are like the most obvious. Like you can go with some of the psychological horror stuff that's throughout Game Pass as well. But yeah, there are tons of games in there, and saving a few bucks, it's never been a bad thing. I don't know why people try to make it seem like it's a bad thing to save money or to have options, and then that option to always buy it if you want to just pay the full price, or not even the full price. Being subscribed, you get a discount. You get 15%. I think it's on the front end on the first 30 days, and then after 30 days, it goes even deeper as far as the discount. And sometimes you even catch a sale with that deep discount. So I don't know. I just love how this service works and how it makes it easier for me to stretch my dollars as far as what I buy and what I play on Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, listen, first of all, shout out to Music 72. What did he just say? Oh, here, Boom. He said, Boom, 44 kills, 87 deaths. You're not wrong there, fella. You're just not wrong. Look, this game is fast and you die a lot. But you know what? If we win, does it matter how you got there? No. I don't care if you use me as a meat shield or not. We won. End of story. I'm happy. And listen, I tell you one thing. What did I play about 200 games already? More times than not, I'm in the winner circle, which is, again, for me, as someone that is, older, I'm 54. I don't have the same skills as I did during the Xbox 360 days. And more importantly, I haven't honestly played Call of Duty in a very long time. So I'm getting very good at it. Again, I'm showing up in the winner circle on a regular basis, but you're not wrong there. Music 72. Thanks so much for the comment. Super appreciate that. Listen, I think you're on to something, because look, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to try and find Game Pass or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for under $20. You just don't. There are multiple sites that you can go to. Like right now, I had like a 3-month gap. Every time I get a 3-month gap, I go to cdkeys.com and I buy a 3-month pass. I paid $29.17 is what I paid for it just the other day, and I'm paid up until October 5th, 2027. All right, so I'm good for 3 years. Every 3 months, it starts to go down. The most I've ever let it elapse is like 6 months, and I buy two of them. Mm-hmm. So at $29.17, that's under $10 a month. Now, granted, I am not going to argue with anyone if you personally feel that the service is not worth its price of admission. I'm just not going to do that because obviously value is in the eye of the beholder. So if you're someone like, for instance, Mag, right? A lot of people love him. A lot of people don't like his takes. That's fine. He's a personal friend of mine. He doesn't feel that Xbox Game Pass is worth to keep paying every month. And that's perfectly fine. But if you are a savvy kind of a consumer, you can find it for not $20 a month. You could find it for about $10 a month. And getting back to your point, which I think is brilliant, is the fact that, okay, so the game is $76.43 here in New Rochelle, New York, before tax. If you spend the so we're not going to talk about the Vault Edition. We're not talking about the $30 upgrade was simply just you go buy the game $76.43. Guess what? That's for one game. If you are a savvy business person, if you are a consumer that doesn't pinch pennies, but you need to watch the dollar, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's smart. That's the way smart consumerism is. You could logistically get 7+ months of Xbox Game Pass plus everything in there for that $76.43. So if you don't feel that it's worth it, okay, I hear you. That's fine. But you can't argue the value proposition, and you can find it for cheaper. Now, if you are someone that doesn't give an F, and there's a lot of people that do, you just, hey, listen, I just put it on my credit card and I just let it ride. That's fine. That's still 3 months of games, and it's not just the one game. You're getting Indiana Jones, you're getting the next Forza, Fable, just name it, plus all the third-party stuff that's in there, plus all the indie stuff that's in there. It's definitely a win, but I'm not going to tell people, I'm not going to pocket watch people and tell how people how to take their money. It's fine.
Yeah.
Listen, before we move on to some of the other the numbers, we got to get into those Steam numbers. It is a really big deal. It's available here, there, and everywhere, and it broke some records on Steam. Someone had put in the chat, and it went so quick because there's a lot of people here that said it made $1 billion in 36 hours.
Yeah, now, I think that was Masshole.
Yeah, Masshole 1977. So shout out to you. I can't find that. So I don't know if that has been reported. I looked for it. If anyone, like I said, if anyone finds that particular story, please DM me and I will read it verbatim and, of course, give you credit online. I couldn't find it. I know that and again, I say this like the third time I'm saying this, I don't remember if it was 7 or 10 days for Modern Warfare 3 to make $1 billion. If this made $1 billion in 36 hours, that's going to be freaking ridiculous. But before we get to that, let me welcome in nearly 900 people here. Holy cow, on a Monday morning. Thank you so much for checking out Double Barrel Gaming. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me and Fuzzy on the Xbox Lunch Break Special that we do each and every Monday. But I do got to catch up on Super Chats, and there's been quite a few of them. Of course, Masshole 1977 has been a channel member for a whopping 38 months, says Tim Waltz talking about Dreamcast and playing Crazy Taxi in an interview is awesome. That is pretty dope. I got to be honest with you because, again, I mean, who would have thunk it, right? Will Broke Boy Lewis drops not one but two Super Chats. The first one of $2. He says, what's up, Boom and chat? Had fun playing Black Ops 6 with you. I indeed as well. That was, we were up way past our old man bedtimes. But listen, this is the kind of game that you stay up for. His second very generous $5 Super Chat says, just to let the chat know, there is a Call of Duty endowment pack available for Black Ops 6 store purchases. Go to charity and assist veterans in finding jobs. Yeah, we talked about that to open. I'm glad that you mentioned it. Super important. Again, if you want to quote unquote give back, and I think we should give back to our veterans. This is and you, again, if you have the money to spare $20, drop it because it's going to something really, really good. And you can get that in the Black Ops store. All you gotta do is hit the LB or RB. You go to the store. It's right there for you to pick up. And it would definitely help our veterans for sure. Creative Monster, who's a generous friend of the program and is always here. So Creative Monster, thank you for the generosity, brother. And thank you so much for the very kind words. He says, Boom and Fuzzy, thank you for all the positivity that you bring to the gaming community. Been busy, so I will watch when I can. Call of Duty plus Game Pass equals LFG ! Times 3. Indeed, absolutely. I think it's such a win for consumerism. Right, it's such a win for Xbox gamers, and again, it's Call of Duty is owned by Xbox. Like, holy freaking cow! Like, are you kidding me? It's still unbelievable. As he has done many times before, Aries_EMS has gifted 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships. As always, Aries, thank you so much for the ridiculous generosity. We truly appreciate it here. And we're going to be giving back. Speaking of which, this Friday, folks, it is November 1st. It is All Saints Day. If you are religious like me and Mrs. Boom, All Saints Day, but it's also Mrs. Boom's birthday bash, her 4th annual birthday bash. We're going to be having a lot of fun, a lot of big conversations. It's going to be me. It's going to be Fuzzy. I'm sure we're going to have the full crew back, including Silent Cypher, who's going to be recovering from Halloween. He'll be joining us as well. And we're giving away $500 worth of gift cards to celebrate Mrs. Boom's birthday. And again, we do that thanks to the generosity of the fine folks in this chat. So thank you so much for that. Lieutenant Hulk, hello, kind sir. Salute to you. He drops a very generous $2 super chat and says Game Pass Ultimate is free with Verizon Fios plus Play.
Yeah.
What? That is freaking. I didn't even know about that. That is unbelievable. So if you have Verizon, my brother, I got to reach out to him. I got to let him know. Apologies for the old man gray beard. I didn't want to shave. I fixed my hair and I'm like, I don't feel like shaving. F that. So here we are. Will Broke Boy Lewis, not to be outdone, has gifted 5 Double Barrel Gaming memberships as well. Will, thank you for the continued support, brother. And we definitely got to get down with some more Call of Duty. I wanted to play after the show, but I'm still putting my Indiana Jones preview video together. And like I said, I got to make sure that I do it right because I don't want to piss off anybody in PR because obviously they flew me out to LA. And I want to make sure that the voiceover is great. I got to just figure out how I'm going to fix the pacing with the actual video because it is my gameplay from the preview event in Los Angeles. They sent it over to me. It's considered B-roll. I've never even heard of that term, but that's what it is. And I can't show it in its entirety. It's about 20 minutes worth of gameplay. It's not the final build, mind you. It's an older build, and it ran perfect. It looked fantastic. But I'm going to put that together. That's going to be available tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the East Coast. And hopefully it's not going to be long. It's probably going to be about maybe 7-8 minutes, give or take. And it should be really good. I like I said, I'm super. It's the biggest video I've done this year for sure. So we also have Will Broke Boy Lewis drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and says, "Damn, Cork not here, so Boom steals my stuff." Oh wow, there you go. So if it's not me, it's Corkenstein. That's hilarious. Smitty Smith, our very good brother, man. He's been a channel member for as long as the channel has been around, 54 months. Smitty, welcome back, brother. Great to see you here, and thank you for the unbelievable support. He says, "What's good, brother Boom?" And shout out to the fan favorite Fuzzy Belvedere. Hope everyone in chat is doing well. And we, of course, hope that you're doing well. And thank you for being here. Music 72 has been a channel member for 1 month. He simply says boom. So shout out to you, Music. Thank you so much for being here. Fuzzy, let's talk numbers. Numbers, again, like opinions. Well, they're like a-holes. Everyone has one, and they all stink, right? But again, you can argue numbers. I mean, you can argue opinions. If you don't agree with my personal opinion, like, yeah, that BoomStick is an idiot. He says this. Well, that's fine. It's not a problem. I'm not even going to fight you on it. Hard to argue the numbers. Now, of course, I have to shout out the tweet that I'm using. There's been quite a few tweets I'm going to be using, and each person I'm going to give a proper shout out to because they do this for free. They put the stats out there, and YouTubers like me get a hold of it. Some people give credit, which I think you should. Some people don't, which I think is gross. But Okami13_, phenomenal member of the apps of the gaming community. Well, he put out a tweet confirming some big numbers for Steam. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 peaks. When this was posted October 27th, this was yesterday at 4:23 p.m. Now, could it have gotten higher since then? I would imagine so, but this is what we have in front of us, Fuzzy. It says Call of Duty Black Ops 6 peaks at 306,000 concurrent players on Steam for its launch weekend. This is the highest player count in about 2 years since the initial relaunch of Steam, relaunch onto Steam in 2022. Black Ops 6 is having a bigger launch than Modern Warfare 3 while also being available on Xbox Game Pass. And you see, that is the ticket. These Steam numbers mean that you bought the game, right? That's a really big deal. So he He goes on to add some additional context. I guess he's responding to somebody, and I think it's important to add to the conversation here before we bring you in, Fuzzy, and get your hot take on it. He says, to me, this says that Game Pass has not significantly hurt sales of the new Call of Duty. It also helps that Black Ops 6 happens to be one of the best Call of Duties in a while. We'll have to wait to see if and how this affects Xbox hardware sales and new subscribers. And we're going to get into my thoughts and Fuzzy's theories about Xbox Game Pass, their numbers. We're going to bring in, well, he's not here, but we're going to bring in his posts. And of course, I'm talking about, what is his name? Oh my goodness.
What, Pachter?
Yes, Michael Pachter. Thank you so much. I had a brain fart. Yeah, we're going to get in his particular hot takes. And again, Pachter has gotten it wrong, but so have I. But I don't think he's wrong here. We'll get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. So let's get your hot takes on the numbers for Steam. I think these numbers are incredibly telling.
Yeah, I mean, like with Steam, when it comes to those on PC, a lot of those that mainly play on PC that are Call of Duty, stands to some extent, are more likely to play Warzone. Although they'll hop into the latest new title. But like in the chat, Scrub Nurse, shout out to him, made a good point. These numbers will probably go higher for the fact that this was during Sunday football. So we'll probably see some higher numbers as each weekend continues going. But for something to outdo Modern Warfare 3, and I'm not sure, but I think it's also at this point exceeded what Modern Warfare 2 did on its launch weekend. I think this goes to show that they're heading in the right direction, and that if we're going to use the PC crowd as a barometer of any sort, this goes to show that this has been one of the best Call of Duties in a long time. Just from opening weekend, and like Scrub Nurse said, we'll continue to see these numbers grow as time goes on. But for an opening weekend, not many games exceed the 300,000 concurrent player type of deal, where you have a mixture of campaign and multiplayer. And a lot of those guys are probably just playing the multiplayer. And we haven't even touched the console aspect. Like Call of Duty, even though it's playable just about anywhere, including a phone, although it's a different game on the phone. But a majority of those that play it on console these days. Like, it hasn't reached that threshold where it's like 50-50 between PC and console. Now, Warzone, on the other hand, it's a different story. It's mobile first, and then it's like PC and console kind of like 50-50 split. But for like the main storyline ones, it's mainly on console. So I'm curious to see how many on Team Blue or how many on Team Green have been playing this. And it's probably for that weekend, probably those same numbers or double that range. So I wouldn't be surprised if each one of the platforms had 500,000 or 500 million, I should say, playing. Or no, 500,000. I'm overthinking it. 500,000 on each platform playing. So you got probably 500,000 or so on Xbox, 500,000 or so on PlayStation playing concurrently over the weekend. So don't be surprised if we hear something along the lines of like, oh yeah, first like weekend, 2.5 million concurrent players, probably 10 million plus that picked up the game and played, probably through the campaign. And then probably by this time next weekend, it'll probably be somewhere in the 20 million range, if not more. But this is definitely one of the biggest titles of the year, just as it is every year. And with it being a good Call of Duty, I think these numbers are just the tip of the iceberg, and we'll probably hear something from Xbox throughout this week, or from Activision, let's just say, talking about it this week, where they do a thing of like how many people killed, how many people used as meat shields, and probably something along the lines of how many people have completed the campaign and how many people are still specking out their safe house and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, this huge weekend. We'll get some bigger numbers later on, and we'll see how it charts, because I know people like to talk about sales charts and things. With this being number one pretty much worldwide, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, the only place it's not going to be charting is on Nintendo, but that's until the Switch 2 comes out, more than likely. So we'll see.
To add some more context to numbers, because that, again, everyone is so number driven, especially when it comes to Xbox Game Pass and Xbox in general. Hazador Gaming, of course, Hazador Gaming with an no missing Gamin. Someone you should definitely follow, as well as Okami, had put out a post on Twitter. He says, now this is for the UK, folks. This is big numbers for the UK, which of course, as we know, is like what, 4-1 of Xbox, PlayStation to Xbox, maybe more, maybe it's still 5-1. It's a significant gap in regards to, it's not as close as it is here in the States for the UK. Well, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 drives the biggest ever UK gaming traffic on EE and BT networks. So just think about that for a second. So Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has driven the biggest numbers ever, the biggest UK gaming traffic on EE and BT networks, respectively. That is a really big deal. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, this is the first year that Call of Duty has been made available on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. And as a result, on both services, both EE and BT, they saw a 144% increase in Xbox Live traffic on its home brand network versus the week before. That, again, these are massive size numbers. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing, again, look, we laugh at it. How many people use a meat shield? How many people dove and killed people? Those stats are going to be fun. Right, we're going to make fun of those stats. It is what it is, right? How many people, 13 million people, stab someone with a knife in the neck. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. A lot of serial killers in the world. Awesome. I want actual numbers. And you made a good point. Like, I think that there's something to be said about Xbox numbers, like how many people playing it on Game Pass, how many people bought it. Sales are going to be a big deal. But I'm interested to know concurrent players across all platforms. I think that's going to be a big number because I keep hearing 10 million. You mentioned it. Someone else had mentioned it. I think you guys might be onto something because this is a big game. This sold like hotcakes. It's number one in the Xbox store. It's number one in the PlayStation store. It's number one on Steam. People are buying this game in droves. People are also playing on Xbox Game Pass. I'm very interested, ladies and gentlemen, to hear about the subscription service numbers. And we're going to get into that right now because, again, Michael Pachter, he's an analyst. Mm-hmm. Does he get it wrong? Sure. Do I get it wrong? Absolutely. Not all the time because I try not to. But you know what? I pulled a story. This comes the way of William D'Angelo of VGC Charts. Now, I've talked about William D'Angelo's posts before. I do like him as an author, as a journalist. He consistently puts out great stuff. This is another example of it. It's titled Michael Pachter. It says Call of Duty Black Ops 6 could add 3 million to 4 million new Xbox Game Pass subscribers. This was posted 4 days ago. This is obviously upon its release. And it says this. I'm going to read verbatim from the article, folks. Webbush analyst Michael Pachter, speaking with GameIndustry.biz, said that Call of Duty Black Ops 6, being a day one release on Xbox Game Pass, could add 3 to 4 million new subscribers to the service. He did add that the Call of Duty franchise being on Xbox Game Pass could lead to 6 million fewer copies sold, with the belief that around 25% of those subscribers may have purchased the game. And he says, and I quote, "Good overall for Microsoft and for consumers," said Pachter, but the headline will say Call of Duty sales are down. Now, Empire's chief games analyst Piers Harding-Rolls also told GameIndustry.biz that he thinks Call of Duty on Xbox Game Pass will increase the number of subscribers by 10% and will result in people upgrading from Game Pass Core to Xbox Game Pass Standard or to, of course, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. And he says the removal of the 14-day dollar trial offer is an indication that Microsoft needs to maximize its subscription revenue returns from the induction of one of gaming's biggest franchises at launch. He goes on to say there is no doubt that adding the latest Call of Duty will be expensive, at least initially, for Microsoft. However, Call of Duty is increasingly a live service game first and foremost that monetizes strongly in game. Microsoft will be trading premium full sales in exchange for a bigger audience that will be monetized in game. I mean, listen, you're going to hear a lot of specifics. You're going to have a lot of opinions. Some you're going to agree with Fuzzy, some you're not going to agree, and it's fine. I don't think they're wrong or they're 100% right either way. I do think that people, I will say, I think word of mouth is going to play a huge role in what this game does, because you got to remember, folks, a game that launches in October usually sees unbelievable engagement in sales for what? The holidays, Black Friday, which is happening in 4 weeks, right? You got Black Friday, but you also have the Christmas season, December 1st through the 24th. They're going to sell a lot of games. Hopefully, they're going to sell a bunch of consoles as well, because, again, the best place to play, at least in my opinion, right now until I'm proven wrong, is on Xbox. Again, for a lot of reasons. There is no Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation. Again, if you want to buy the game outright, please spend the $76.43 or the $108 for the Vault Edition. All power to you. But I think that personally, this is going to be one of those games that has a long tail. It's going to be the best selling in October when it released. At least I think it is. And I think that overall, I think it actually could potentially do what it always does, be the best-selling game of the year, even though it's an Xbox Game Pass. Let's get your thoughts on the addition of 3 to 4 million potentially new subscribers to Xbox Game Pass. Is it low, or do you think it's too high?
It's tough to say. Like, I know we were looking at like some of the numbers from like Starfield, and I think they equated it to at least 2 million additional subscribers around the time when Starfield was released. I think it went from like 32 mil to like 35 mil or 35 mil to 37 mil, somewhere in that ballpark. So Starfield, being that it was only on PC and only on Xbox, that drove 2 million people to subscribe, and they did away with the whole dollar deal around that time. I think you're going to see at least that similar number. And yes, with it being on more platforms, then it may not be as much of an incentive, but I think there's going to be a lot of people that look at this where if they're just spending the amount for Game Pass, or maybe they got, CD keys, because the word is starting to spread that you can get 3 months at a lot cheaper than the typical $20 a month type of deal, or maybe people are doing the Microsoft rewards. In any event, you're going to get some of those that are going to be like, you know what, let me try this service. Let me go ahead and put the other amount that I would have put to the Vault Edition to, or not towards the Vault Edition, towards the regular edition, and put that towards the Vault Edition or other stuff. I think you will see enough people give it a try, even with the dollar deal being removed, which I think the only people that were really complaining were the Team Blue guys that always complain that they subscribe to Game Pass and then there's no game, so they cancel it and then they resubscribe at a later date, which is your prerogative. You're more than welcome to do so and partake in Game Pass only when you see fit. But I think there's going to be enough people, because of the buzz, because of the sense of FOMO at this point, to some regard, where people are going to be like, you know what, I'll give this a try. And if Xbox winds up doing like a bundle, whether it's Game Pass or whether it's Call of Duty with the Series S or something like that, I think they will see an increase in subscribers and an increase in sales. If they lose 6 million from their projected, like let's say they were projecting 30 mil and they only reached 24 mil, I think they'll make up the difference between, like they said in that article, the monetizing the customers with, the upgrades, season passes, skins, and things along those lines, or even the recurring income that they get from subscription. So losing 6 million sales, let's say, versus getting 2 to 4 million additional subscribers that are going to have month over month recurring income going to the company. I think by the time you get to like that, third or fourth month, it's a wash at that point. That 6 million loss is made up in the subscription, and more than likely you'll be able to monetize those customers on other games that they may have saved on. So, from an Xbox standpoint, I think they'll see more than satisfactory sales, more than what they probably saw on Modern Warfare 3. And the way it's trending now, I would say they'll probably see even more than what they saw on Modern Warfare 2, which was a big launch as far as Call of Duty a couple of years ago. So yeah, I think they're kind of spot on, but I'm open for surprises. Like, this might be, considering how big of a uptick you saw in the UK and probably in other regions of the world. I wouldn't be surprised if they add more than that projected 4 million and still reach pretty close, if not exceed their sales goal on individual copies. But like I said, I think this week we'll see something from either Microsoft, Xbox, or Activision. More than likely, it'll just be headed under the Activision listing, and then Xbox will probably chime in with thanks for or welcome to the new subscribers. Adding 4 million subscribers or however many. We're now at 40 million subscribers in Game Pass, or somewhere north of that. And I think that will be the telling story. And hopefully quite a lot of the naysayers that are like, oh, Game Pass numbers are so reliant on whether Call of Duty adds subscribers or not. No, I think at this point, Call of Duty is going to do what Call of Duty does, and it's going to sell, and people are going to play it. Game Pass numbers will probably increase as time goes on, because, like I said, you have a roadmap of games after games after games that are going to be in the service, and for the price of $20 a month or your spare time with doing Microsoft Rewards, I think it's well worth it, considering how many games they'll be releasing from first party in the service these upcoming years. So we'll see.
What's interesting? When I hear people saying that, oh, Game Pass is doomed, make or break, look out, the sky is falling. Here's my thought and theory. And I'm being fair. Chat, please jump in here. Throw your hot takes in here. Has there been a game as big as Call of Duty to launch into service day and date prior? Now, some people are going to say it's Halo Infinite. Some people are going to say it's Forza. Some people are going to say it's Starfield. But if we're being fair, as great as those franchises are, and we know that Starfield specifically broke records for any one single day new subscribers when it released last September. That has been confirmed. Satya Nadella said it himself. Has there been a game as big, as polished, and as buzzworthy as as Black Ops 6? The answer is no. So where am I going with this? Well, if they have already 30, let's just say for shits and giggles, Fuzzy, the number is 34 million before this.
Mm-hmm.
That means that they have concurrent subscribers of 34 million users that played whatever came out before Call of Duty Black Ops 6. 34 million people think that the service is worth staying subscribed to, and they pay, whether it's their monthly or they buy it in bulk like I do and you do, right? They're still spending the money. Microsoft is still getting the money. That's 34 million humans. Okay? You put a game like this in here, you potentially are going to get, because you got to remember, a lot of the current PlayStation 5 owners, and I'm not saying all of them, I'm saying a good portion of them, were Xbox 360 gamers that moved over thanks to the blunder of 2013, right? They lost a lot of Xbox gamers because of price and power. How you this is how you trade games literally won the generation for PlayStation. And the fact that there was a $100 difference in the boxes, that was also a huge part. You have a potential to get PlayStation gamers that were Xbox gamers during the 360 dude bro era, and they've been Call of Duty fans ever since. You got to remember, after the 360, Microsoft not only effed up the launch of that console, they didn't keep Call of Duty, just a double-edged sword for them. They literally gave up the marketing rights, which everything was Xbox and Call of Duty, and they basically gave it away. They didn't re-up with Activision. Big mistake. And ultimately they paid for it in a big way. A lot of those people, those gamers, are going to come back, and maybe they're on PC now only. Maybe they have rigs, and they're like, oh, I can get PC Game Pass. It's cheaper than regular Game Pass, and they have all the bells and whistles of their rig. There is going to be a huge uptake, in my opinion, of new subscribers for the value. And again, your opinion on value is going to differ than mine. I think Game Pass is worth its weight in gold. Some people may say otherwise, and that's fine if you don't. If you don't think that it's worth it, I'm not going to fight you on it, Fuzzy. But this is value. And this is a AAA monster-sized game in Xbox Game Pass. I think this is a win for consumerism. I think it's a win for Xbox gamers. I think it's a win for Microsoft as a corporation. But all you should really care about is it a win for you? Did you subscribe to the service because of it? Are you a long-time subscriber like myself? Were you more inclined to get the $30 upgrade because you didn't have to spend $108? All of these questions are going to be answered in the next couple of days. But I do want to say that, again, this has been a phenomenal show. Again, this particular show, and of course the Thursday show, runs about an hour and 10 minutes. I know, shout out to Web Dave, who wanted to jump in. I really would love to have Dave join us, because he's obviously a major part of this show and has been for years. I just have to get out of here in under an hour and 10 minutes, because I have to really put my mind and get everything ready for this Indiana Jones video. It's coming out tomorrow. It's the biggest video that I've done this year. It's probably the biggest video I've done in years, and I have to make sure that it's done right. And again, I'd love to spend 2 hours talking about Call of Duty and a bunch of other stuff, but we still have the rest of the week to get into. So I just want to thank everyone that's here. We have 1,120 live viewers. Now, of course, that's not all on YouTube. Half of it is YouTube. Half of it is on Twitter. And that's a really big deal. This channel is relatively small. It's 15,000 subscribers. And I'm not being facetious or coy. It's still a small channel. To have that many people watching live across multiple platforms is a really, really big deal for us. And we are unbelievably grateful for it. Let me just make sure we are up to date. Oh, we have a channel member chat from the best mod in the business, the man that walks silently and carries a very large band stick in his hands, not his pants. He's Lethal Boss Mod, Lethal Papa. Shout out to you, brother. He's been a channel member for 61 months. I mean, damn, dude, that is crazy generous of you. Mrs. Boom and I are incredibly grateful for it. He says, hi, guys. Hope everyone is enjoying Black Ops 6. I know that I am. Oh, yeah, dude. I honestly, I want to just throw everything to the wind and go play. I just can't. I got to get the show done. I got to get it wrapped. I got to get it up onto the streaming services, and I got to finish this video. And again, if you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Let's say, for instance, you found it, the live stream through Twitter, and you're not subscribed. Mrs. Boom and I are on the hunt for 16K. We would greatly appreciate any help, and all you have to do is subscribe. And if you're feeling super ultra generous, you hit the bell icon so you know when we go live. And if you're feeling ridiculously generous, you can share this on social media. Again, we'd be greatly appreciative of that. But Fuzzy, let's sell your brand, because obviously this week is Halloween, and it just so happens to be that you and your wife launched a new horror podcast. Happens on Friday. It is Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, and obviously it's a fun show. I don't know what you have planned for this week. But we're interested to get people over there to subscribe, but also we want people to subscribe to your YouTube channel because you're on the hunt to get to 1K, and you are the best place for anything and everything in the racing genre. So we want to get people over there. And where could people follow both of you on social media?
As always, thank you for having me on. Greatly appreciate doing this on Monday afternoons with you. And thanks to everybody in the chat for checking us out. Those on Twitter, come over to YouTube. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch us talk about, our favorite hobby, gaming, and Call of Duty being the biggest part right now. Hope you guys are enjoying it as well. For those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app, formerly known as Twitter, at Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also follow or find my YouTube channel. Just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere on YouTube. But also, if you're into horror, especially this time of year, with this month, Halloween right around the corner, if you're into scary games or scary movies, go ahead and give my wife a follow, Ferocious Fee 78 on Twitter, and do a search for Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, and that's FI for Fiona, on YouTube. We're every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think this Friday we're debating on if we're going to do Trap, which was that fairly recent movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that one, but definitely check us out. Or it's going to be Maxine. One of those two is going to be the movie for discussion. But if, like I said, if you're into that horror flick or even horror games, definitely check us out Friday night on YouTube every Friday at 6 p.m. And also, I'll be on other podcasts as well later on tonight on FSP on Fun Speculations channel at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you guys there in the chat. And then right back here Friday morning for Breakfast with Boom. Hope to see everybody in the chat right back here, 10 a.m. Hope to see you there. Thanks again.
Indeed. Shout out to Boom's Pension Has a Ceiling in the chat. I love it. That means people are actually listening. That's great. Oh my goodness. Brother, thank you so much for being here. That is hilarious. Super appreciate that. Again, folks, have fun. Enjoy gaming wherever you enjoy gaming. I'm always online. If you see me on just jump into the party, send me an invite. I threw my gamer tag out on the socials. It might have been a mistake. I thought about it afterwards. I'm like, oh no, the trolls are gonna come for me. So far it's been pretty good. Everyone that I've friended have been actually decent humans that I didn't know, which is awesome. I'm going to be on playing probably in about, I want to say, a couple hours because I still got to work out. I actually skipped working out today, and I hate myself for it because I like working out in the morning. So I definitely got to do the whole gym thing and get my sweat on. But I also got to finish this video as well as, get this uploaded for anyone that's going to watch, check it out on the RSS feed. A big thank you to everyone that is here. Again, we super appreciate whether it's a view, whether it's a like, whether it's a sub, whether it's a super, whether it's a channel member chat. We honestly, we take none of this for granted. We have an audience thanks to you. And of course, we don't want to say, again, thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. I'm going to close out the show with something. First of all, let me thank all the super chats that come in. Obviously, it's because of those that we could do the big giveaways, which we're doing this Friday. Do not forget to be there. To win, all you got to do is be in the chat. I'm going to drop a hashtag when the show goes live. If you win, you win. You pay nothing. You literally win a $50 gift card to your choice of platform: Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo eShop, whatever you want. And if you're outside of the Americas, we will send you the cash via PayPal. That's it. Super easy. And all you got to do to win is be in the chat. The first 5 winners are channel members. The second 5 winners is anybody that's in during the live chat. And of course, I'm going to close out the show, Fuzzy, with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you, ladies and gentlemen. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids, and he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special.